So Brendan Allen was interviewed by Mark Raimondi, and in the interview, he was asked about Ian Garry's antics and all this sort of stuff, and Brendan Allen had this to say. So I'm just going to play the clip from Brendan Allen, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it.
She wants, and then like you get things like someone posted a video of Shavkat and Jason wrestling. I was there on that day. I watched it. I was 2 feet from it. One, I feel how I feel about the video, but two, I think he commented somewhere on there. I heard someone say he commented somewhere on there. And it's like he records everything, right? Like they record everything. But just know there's video, and he knows what name not to say to let it come out of what happened to him. I'm not going to release it, but just know there is someone in that gym that has slept him out. So for him to come in and say, oh, everyone knows how good he is striking and how good he is here and this and that and this and that. Yeah, everyone has their days. Hell, he's probably got the better of me a couple sparring sessions, but there's many sparring sessions I did what I did too. So I don't know. I think like it's just a lot of talk, and it's hard to say gym.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, in that video, Brendan Allen talks about how he got slept by somebody in that gym, and I'm going to break down who I think it is, starting from the least likely who it is to the most likely it is. And it's going to be a surprising pick for number one, because I have a bit of an inside scoop on this, so it is going to be a bit of a surprising one. But let me break down my first suspect for who knocked out Ian Garry. I'm gonna be saying Jason Jackson. Okay, why is Jason Jackson on this list? Because we've never heard Ian Garry call out Jason Jackson or talk about his sparring sessions with Jason Jackson. But at the same time, with Jason Jackson, there is an asterisk, because of course this guy's in a complete different promotion. This is why he's my least likely. Why would Brendan Allen mention Jason Jackson? There's no point to it. There'd be no reason for him to talk about how he goes against Jason Jackson. He's in Bellator/PFL. He's not fighting in the UFC. Plus, nobody's really going to hype. Nobody's going to hype up Ian Garry talking trash about Jason Jackson. So there would be no reason for him to talk about him, let alone if he slept him. So I reckon Jason Jackson, least likely. Next up on my list is the Leech, Li Jingliang. This one's very unlikely too, but I have him on here because he does have a similar style to Song Kanan, just a bit better. So I just thought I'd include him just because, if the left hook is Ian Garry's kryptonite, which, Song Kanan did catch him with, I could see, this being one of the people who slept him. Very similar style to Song Kanan, just a bit more powerful, a bit better in my opinion, a bit more durable. So I just have him here just because, it could be, but there would be no reason for him to talk about the Leech. The Leech isn't higher ranked than him. The Leech is also coming off some really bad back injuries, so he probably hasn't been training for a while. So I don't think time frame wise, I'm not sure when Ian Garry got slept, but I doubt it would be the Leech. Like there'd be no reason for this to be the Leech, and I just don't think timeline wise, it works out. Like the Leech has been out for almost a year. I think he was booked against Michael Chiesa in March, but he pulled out because he had real bad back injuries, and I think he was in China. I don't think he actually ended up going to Killcliff anytime this year. I could be wrong on that, maybe early in this year, but I don't think timeline-wise it works out to be the Leech, so that's why I'm ruling the Leech off my suspects list. Next on my suspects list, I have Kamaru Usman. Now, I have Kamaru Usman on this list because he is higher ranked than Ian Garry. He is a very good fighter. You don't really hear Ian Garry talk about him too much. I have heard him talk about him before, saying, talking about how if he goes in there and beats like a Kamaru Usman, he's up there as one of the best welterweights or something. I've heard him say stuff about these lines. But we don't really hear him talking crazy about Kamaru Usman or anything like that. And I haven't really seen much footage of them sparring. Not that it doesn't happen, but I haven't really seen much that would make me believe that this is Kamaru Usman. Plus, especially because in sparring, He's not going to be worried about takedowns and sparring. They'll be using boxing gloves more than likely. Maybe they use 4-ounce gloves, I'm not sure, but most times in sparring it'll be boxing gloves. And I just don't think Kamaru Usman can KO Ian Garry with boxing gloves. I could be wrong, I'm just assuming, but his overall boxing isn't that good. Again, it is sparring, so maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much into this, but I don't think there would be well-rounded rounds between them. I don't think you'd be mixing up takedowns or anything like that. So I just think it would be a pitter-patter jab between them in the boxing. I don't think there would be any hard sparring between them, especially with Kamaru Usman. When he goes hard with his punches, you can tell he's going to throw a big punch. He telegraphs a little bit. So I just don't think it's Kamaru Usman. So next, now this is where people are going to be thrown off. My next suspect on this list is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, you're probably thinking, what? No, it's definitely Shavkat. It was definitely Shavkat who knocked him out. Maybe Shavkat has knocked him out before, but I'm certain it was not Shavkat who Brendan Allen's talking about. Now, why is that? You're probably thinking, no, it's got to be, that Josh Thompson and John McCarthy, they were talking about that clip, how Shavkat gets the better of him and all this stuff. But Brendan Allen mentioned, he's not talking about this guy and all this sort of stuff. Now, let me replay the clip again with Brendan Allen.
And then, you get things like someone posted a video of Shavkat and Jason wrestling. I was there on that day. I watched it. I was 2 feet from it. One, I feel how I feel about the video. But two, I think he commented somewhere on there. I heard someone say he commented somewhere on there. And it's like...
So you hear that. He commented something on there. So, maybe talking some smack, joking around, and Shavkat is in that video. So why would it be Shavkat Rakhmonov that Brendan Allen's talking about?
He records everything, right? They record everything. But just know, there's video. And he knows what name not to say to let it come out of what happened to him. I'm not going to release it, but just know there is someone in that gym that has slept him out. So for him to come in and say, oh, everyone knows how good he is striking and how good he is here and this and that, this and that. Yeah, everyone has their days. Hell, he's probably got the better of me a couple sparring sessions, but there's many sparring sessions I did what I did too. So I don't know. I think it's just a lot of talk, and it's hard to say Jim he wants.
So he said, he's not. He pretty much said Brendan Allen ruled out Shavkat Rakhmonov in that clip and Jason Jackson as well. He pretty much ruled them out because he said Ian Garry commented on that, but he said, there's a man he's not mentioning pretty much. And that, that leads me to believe it's not Shavkat Rakhmonov. And the thing is, Ian Garry has called, he talks about how they have great sparring sessions together. They have real competitive fights and stuff like that. He said once they get in there together, it's going to be a banger of a fight. So, calling for that fight, saying it's going to happen one day. So he's pretty much, that in my opinion, rules out it being Shavkat Rakhmonov who slept him. Maybe, Josh Thompson was talking about maybe in the grappling, Shavkat sort of just chokes him out, ragdolls him. That could be a possibility. We haven't really seen much of Ian Garry's grappling. Maybe that's what he's talking about. There was nothing in that clip where Josh Thompson... I'll play the clip, actually, just to get the context, so I'm not just you're not just getting my point of view from it. Let me just play the clip with Josh Thompson. Where is it? Okay, holy shit! I found it. I finally found it. It was actually a lot harder than I thought it would to find this clip. So okay, here it is. This is Josh Thompson talking to John McCarthy.
Man, so good.
Yeah, he was.
All right, enough bagging on Ian Garry. I think he's the future. I think he's got a lot of talent.
He's good.
But I'm gonna say right now, they train in the same gym, him and Shavkat. And I would love to tell you how that sparring goes, but I can't get out to watch out and find it. But I know exactly how it goes.
I know how it goes too. I've talked to him.
So I mean, Ian Garry.
But if you're Ian
get your
Garry,
mind right, buddy.
No. Look if you're Ian Garry, you're doing things the right way. You're building your brand. You're looking fantastic in the fights. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep going back to camp and getting better at everything. And you've got some ground to make up. You've got ground to make up. because there's people that are in your camp that are difficult to deal with right now. So, hey, just keep getting better. He's doing the right thing.
Well, you got Gilbert Burns in that camp. You've got Kamaru Usman in that camp. You got Logan Storm there, who I know.
Fight, Gary.
No, I know. I get it. I understand.
Okay, so anyway, you hear that clip, you hear him say, like, I want to talk about sparring and all that sort of stuff and what goes on there. So I'm thinking Shavkat does get the better of him. I'm sure Shavkat does get the better of him, but I don't think Shavkat is the one who KO'd him. I think Shavkat might beat him up, maybe take him down, out-grapple him, and then choke him out and sub him at will. Maybe that is a thing. Maybe that's what he does. He's got a lot of standing chokes. I could sort of see stuff like that happening between Shavkat and Garry. But I don't think Shavkat's the man who did it. And the man who I think did it was just mentioned in that clip. I think the man who KO'd Ian Garry was Gilbert Durinho Burns. Okay, you're going to say, what? No, fuck off. It was Shavkat. No, it was Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is the one who KO'd him. He's never, ever called out for Gilbert Burns. Brendan Allen said he'll never call this guy out. Maybe it's because they train together. That's a possibility. But I'm so certain it was Gilbert Burns. I have an inside source. He himself, he wasn't completely sure it was Gilbert Burns, but he said most likely it was Gilbert Burns who knocked Ian Garry out. And I believe it. I think if anyone knocked him out, it was Gilbert Burns. He's called for Shavkat Rakhmonov multiple times. He said, me and Shavkat, that'll be a hell of a fight one day. Like, one day down the line, me and Shavkat, that's going to be a crazy fight. He said that. He has said that. And Brendan Allen mentioned in that very clip where he talks about Ian Garry getting knocked out that he commented on a post of Shavkat and Jason Jackson. It wasn't Shavkat that knocked him out. It was Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns has a really powerful left hand, very powerful hook, throws wild overhands. There's a bit of a dig thing if he did knock Ian Garry out, because like John McCarthy mentions, he is pretty much his trainer, but still, the things he has, the way he strikes and everything, inspiring, Ian Garry's maybe not going to be as switched on as he is during his fights, and if he's getting caught with left hooks while he's in that flow state, in that fighter mode against Song Kanan, I can definitely see him getting clipped by Gilbert Burns in sparring, Maybe they go a little hard or something. Ian Garry goes to the body, leaves his chin open, gets left hooked, and then he's knocked out cold. Gilbert Burns is a powerful man. He's a little man, but he is a fire hydrant. He's a fucking built man, small man, powerful, compact man. We all know he's got some crazy power, even as a former lightweight. I think it was Gilbert Burns who knocked out Ian Garry. I know the consensus is that it was Shavkat Rakhmonov, but I don't believe it was. I really don't. I don't think so. Could Shavkat have knocked him out in sparring if he really wanted to? I'm sure he could. Ian Garry could just get KO'd by Shavkat if he really wanted to. But I just have a feeling, and I have some facts to back it up. Just hearing what I've heard is, I'm pretty certain it was Gilbert Burns who knocked him out cold. Like I say, he'll never call out Gilbert Burns. He's never talked about fighting Gilbert Burns. He hasn't talked about, me and Gilbert that'd be a hell of a fight. You should see the sparring sessions with Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm confident in my abilities against Shavkat. You should see the sparring sessions. So he's talking himself up, meaning to me that, him and Shavkat isn't as one-sided as maybe he believes in his mind. Maybe he's being delusional. But if he was getting knocked out, as delusional as Ian Garry is, he's not that delusional. I think he would keep his mouth shut about Shavkat if Shavkat was knocking him out cold and fucking 10-7ing, 10-7ing him every fucking sparring session. So in my opinion, Gilbert Burns is the man who KO'd him. Like I say, I've got some sources to this, but they're still not 100% concrete that it was Gilbert Burns. It could have been Shavkat Rakhmonov, but everything that I'm hearing and seeing just makes me believe it's Gilbert Burns. Just think about all the things I've mentioned, all my points in here. I could be completely wrong, don't get me wrong. I'm not training in Kill Cliff, so I can't go and, get the inside scoop myself. I don't even live in America, so it's not like I can go to Kill Cliff and fucking interrogate everyone, but yeah, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it's Gilbert Burns, and looking at the facts and all the evidence, I think it makes the most sense that it's Gilbert Burns, in my opinion. But I guess we'll probably won't ever find out. What happens in sparring should probably stay in sparring, but maybe Ian Garry will eventually address this. But yeah, I guess we'll find out in due time. But I think it's Gilbert Burns. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if I've changed your mind on who the culprit was for the Ian Garry fucking knockout in sparring, the concussion master in sparring was. But yeah, let me know if you think it was any of these other men besides Gilbert Burns. You probably think it's Shavkat Rakhmonov, if we're being honest. But let me know if you don't even think it's any of these guys. Let me know if you think it's an outliner, a dark horse. Maybe it was Gregory Rodriguez. He seems like he spars really hard. He's a middleweight, but he's a big guy. He's only a weight class below Ian Garry, so that isn't impossible. But I didn't include him just because why would he be calling for Gregory Rodriguez? The way Brendan Allen made it sound is that this is a welterweight. So yeah, that's my rationale for this, but we'll find out in due time, in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully we get an answer to this, but I feel like we never will. But yeah, anything's possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you give this video a like. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. Put on them notifications and share this video. I did a very informative investigation here, so like please, show this video some love. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.